Have you ever wondered why some people seem untouchable? No matter how many storms hit, no matter how loud the chaos gets, they walk through life with an unshakable calm, as if the world bends around their mindset.
It's not luck.
It's not wealth. It's not that life is easier for them. It's because they follow invisible rules. Rules of mindset that protect their energy, sharpen their focus,
And make them impossible to break. Here's the truth most people miss. Life is not about controlling what happened. It's about controlling how you meet it.
Storms will come. People will betray you. Failures will test you. Success will tempt you. But what separates the strong from the weak is not circumstance. It's mindset. Your mind is either your greatest enemy or your most powerful ally. And the people you admire, the leaders, the warriors, the creators, the visionaries, they don't rely on chance. They live by rules. These rules aren't written in books or shouted in speeches. They're lived in silence, practiced in private, tested in fire. They're not motivational quotes you forget by lunch. They're hard truths, uncomfortable, unglamorous, but brutally effective. And when you build your life on them, you stop playing defense and start commanding your reality. Because here's the secret: the world will always try to pull you into distraction, drama, and despair. But when your mindset has rules, you don't collapse. You don't chase. You don't break. You stand like a rock in the middle of the storm, steady, grounded, unmovable. In the next few minutes, I'm going to share 21 rules of mindset, not theory, not fluff, but practical weapons you can use every single day. If you're ready to stop surviving and start commanding your life, then listen carefully. Because once you adopt these rules, you'll never see yourself or the world the same way again. Rule 1: control what you can, release what you can't. Every single day, life throws situations at you that test your patience, your peace, your strength. The traffic jam that makes you late, the boss who criticizes you unfairly, the friend who suddenly goes silent.
The deal that falls apart at the last second. And what do most people do?
They fight the air. They replay conversations in their head like broken tapes. They clench their fists and burn their energy trying to control what was never in their hand. That's why they suffer twice. First, from the event itself.
And second, from their own resistance to it. Here's the brutal truth. The only thing you truly control, your thoughts, your choices, your action.
Everything else belongs to fate, to chance, to the chaos of the world. And the moment you confuse the two, you become a prisoner. But the moment you separate them, you become free. Think of rain. You cannot stop it, but you can decide whether to curse it or walk through it with your head high. Think of rejection. You cannot force someone to stay, but you can choose how you heal, how you carry yourself forward. Think of failure. You cannot control the market, the world, or the timing, but you can control your response, your discipline, your ability to adapt. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events."
Realize this and you will find strength. Notice what he didn't say.
He didn't say comfort.
He didn't say ease.
He said strength. Because real strength is not about conquering the world. It's about conquering yourself. Here's your practice. Every morning, ask yourself, what belongs to me today?
And what doesn't?
If it belongs to you, your effort, your choices, your integrity, own it fully. If it doesn't, someone else's mood, the weather, the past, release it before it poisons your peace. Rule 2: build systems, not illusions of willpower. Everyone loves to talk about willpower. Just be stronger. Just resist temptation. Just push harder. But here's the truth nobody admits. Willpower is fragile. It cracks under stress. It fades when you're tired, hungry, or overwhelmed. And if your entire life strategy depends on pure willpower, you are already setting yourself up to fail. Think about it. How many times have you promised yourself, tomorrow I'll wake up at 5 a.m., hit the gym, eat clean, crush my goals? And maybe you do it once, maybe twice, but then life gets heavy. A stressful day, a late night, a sudden distraction. Suddenly, you're back in bed at 11 a.m., scrolling endlessly.
Not because you're weak.
Not because you lack discipline, but because you were depending on brute force. And brute force always breaks. The Stoics knew this centuries ago. They didn't preach about trying harder. They built systems. Seneca practiced poverty so riches couldn't control him. Marcus Aurelius designed his mornings with reflection and reminders about death, not because he felt like it every day, but because the system carried him when motivation failed. That's the real secret. Stop relying on bursts of energy. Start designing environments where the right choice is automatic and the wrong choice becomes almost impossible. Want to eat healthy? Don't try harder. Remove junk from your house. Fill your fridge with clean food. Put water bottles on your desk. When hunger strikes, the system already made the decision for you. Want to focus? Don't keep your phone buzzing next to you and then blame yourself for losing hours. Put it in another room. Use website blockers. Create a workspace where distractions can't breathe. This is the law of invisible systems. Make the right action easy and the wrong action hard. Willpower fails. Systems don't. And once you build systems strong enough, you stop saying, "I'm trying to change." You become the change. Not because you force yourself daily, but because your life is designed to carry you forward. Rule 3, control attention or lose power. In today's world, attention is the new currency. It decides who wins, who gets remembered, and who disappears. But here's the brutal truth. Most people waste their attention on distractions, while the powerful learn how to control it. Think about it. Every app on your phone is fighting for your focus. Notifications, endless scrolling, dopamine traps. The system is designed to make you the product. If you can't control where your attention goes, someone else already owns your future. Machiavelli would have understood this perfectly. He wrote that men judge more by the eye than the hand. Translation? People don't care about what's real. They care about what captures their focus. The eye is the gateway to influence. Whoever controls what people see, controls what people think. Here's how it plays out today. You can either be the person glued to every distraction, consuming without thinking, or you can be the one who steps back, studies the noise, and decides where to place your attention and where to direct theirs. Control attention like a strategist. Want people to follow your lead? Don't scream louder. Don't fight for scraps of visibility. Instead, master focus points. Choose one story, one image, one narrative that hooks their imagination and make it unforgettable. While everyone else spreads themselves thin, you create gravity around your presence and personally guard your own attention like your life depends on it, because it does. Protect your mornings from social media. Block out chunks of time for deep work. Let boredom teach you discipline, because once you reclaim your focus, the world slows down. You see patterns others miss? You notice opportunities others scroll past. Attention is power because it decides where energy flows. Where energy flows, results grow. And whoever directs that flow doesn't just survive the modern chaos, they shape it. Rule 4, hide your moves, show them a mask. In a culture where everyone is broadcasting every detail of their lives, every achievement, every hustle, every move, the person who hides becomes the most dangerous player in the room. Machiavelli would never post his strategy. He'd never live stream his grind. Why? Because the second people see how you're moving, they start preparing counter moves. They study your path, copy your steps, plant traps in your way. Visibility might make you feel powerful in the moment, but in reality, it makes you predictable. Real power moves in silence. That doesn't mean you disappear completely. No, you give the world just enough to keep them distracted, but never enough to know your core strategy. It's a magician's trick. The left hand dazzles with illusion, while the right hand hides the real play. Think about your life. Are you letting people see your every plan? Are you constantly updating, announcing, proving yourself? If yes, you're making it easier for your competition to map you out. Machiavelli would say, stop showing the factory. Show the product only when it's ready to dominate. He wrote that a ruler must always be prepared to act against loyalty, charity, humanity, even religion, if it means preserving power. Translation: appear noble, move ruthlessly, don't reveal your mechanics, don't explain your systems, don't let them predict your next step. In today's language, keep your input private, but make your output public. Let them think they're watching your every move. when in reality, they're only seeing the performance you want them to. Because here's the paradox: the quieter your grind, the louder your results. One day you'll look like you're standing still, and the next day you'll pass them all by without warning. And when they ask, "How did this happen?" you'll just smile, because the truth is, it happened in the shadows. Invisibility isn't weakness, it's armor, it's leverage, it's how you make sure no one can stop you before it's too late. So ask yourself, are you showing your moves, or are you making them in silence and letting results speak for themselves? Rule 5. Build a mask, then let it crack. Here's a truth people don't want to admit. Perfection is boring. Perfect people don't stick in our minds. They pass through unnoticed. What fascinates us, what keeps us hooked, are the cracks, the flaws, the glimpses of something hidden underneath. Machiavelli knew this. He understood that if you want control, you must first build a mask, a strong one. You walk into a room looking calm, intelligent, collected. You're the person everyone thinks has it together. That mask earns respect. It earns trust. It creates the illusion of stability. But here's the twist. You don't keep the mask flawless. You let it fracture, just a little. Maybe one sharp word when you're usually quiet. Maybe one sudden moment of raw emotion when you've always been calm. Maybe one unexpected insight that reveals depth no one imagined you had. Why? Because people don't obsess over what they already understand. They obsess over mystery or over the pieces they don't have. When you reveal 90% and hide 10%, that 10% becomes their obsession. They'll chase it for years, trying to solve the puzzle of you. Think of the celebrities or leaders who stay unforgettable.
It's never just because of their talent. It's because they showed flashes of imperfection, glimpses of darkness, edges of vulnerability.
That tension between the mask and what lies beneath is addictive, Machiavelli would remind us. A wise ruler cultivates an appearance of virtue while being ready to act against it at any moment.
Translation.
Be the light when they're watching, but let them see a shadow slip across your face once in a while.
Enough to make them wonder what else is hiding there, because once they've seen the mask crack, they'll never stop thinking about what's behind it.
And in that endless curiosity, in that obsession, you become unforgettable. The truth is, people don't really want perfection. They want the story of perfection breaking. Give them that on your terms, and you'll hold their attention forever. Rule 6, say less than necessary. Always. Most people can't stand silence. They rush to fill it with explanations, with justifications, with nervous chatter. And in doing so, they hand over their power.
Every extra word is a leak.
Every unnecessary sentence reveals insecurity, fear, or a desperate need for validation. Machiavelli knew the opposite. Power lives in restraint. He wouldn't waste words trying to impress or clarify. He'd speak with precision, then stop.
One sentence.
Maybe two. And then silence. Because here's the secret. Silence is not weakness.
It's pressure.
When you stop talking, they start overthinking. They project their fears onto your silence. They wonder, why didn't he respond? What's he planning? What does he know? And while they spiral, you haven't lifted a finger. Think about it. In a negotiation, the person who speaks less almost always controls the room. In arguments, the calm silence of one side makes the other side frantic, emotional, sloppy. Silence bends people without them realizing it. This is why Machiavelli used words like blades, not blankets. Sharp, precise, never wasted. And when he went silent, it wasn't emptiness. It was a trap. In today's world of constant noise, tweets, posts, endless debates, the one who speaks rarely, but with weight, becomes unforgettable. They stand out. They own the rhythm of the room.
Everyone else is screaming for attention. You
make people lean in, so stop over-explaining. Stop clarifying every move. Stop filling every gap with nervous words. Instead, speak with control. Then let the silence do the work. Because here's the truth. Mystery is forged in the spaces between words. And when they're guessing, when they're sweating, when they can't stop thinking about what you didn't say, you've already won. Rule 7. Blur the line between threat and ally. In today's world, people crave certainty. They want to know who's on their side and who's against them.
Friend or enemy? Safe or dangerous?
Clear lines. But Machiavelli? He would never give them that comfort. He understood a dangerous truth. The second someone knows you're a threat, they prepare for war. They guard themselves, sharpen their weapons, and build defenses. If they can't place you, they relax. And that's when you move. Machiavelli would compliment enemies in public. He'd share meals with rivals. He'd defend people he secretly planned to remove. Why? Because confusion disarms. When people can't define you, they stop protecting themselves. They stop watching their backs. And the best time to strike is when your opponent is sleeping. He wrote, "The lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. One must therefore be a fox to recognize traps and a lion to frighten wolves." That's the balance. You are both.
A smile, a claw.
A friend and a rival in practice. You play neutral. You agree with your critic before outmaneuvering them. You support your rival just before replacing them. You appear harmless until your absence becomes a weapon. Think of it this way. The person who's warm, supportive, and disarming is the last person anyone suspects. And that's exactly why they never see it coming. By the time they realize you are never their ally, it's already too late. Modern translation: don't announce yourself as the enemy. Don't wave the flag of war. Instead, blur the line. Smile more.
Speak less.
Let them believe you're safe, even while you prepare the knife, because the deadliest move is the one they never prepared for. Rule 8. Make them feel safe before you take power. The easiest way to take someone down isn't by fighting them head on. It's by convincing them you're no threat at all. See, most people think betrayal comes with warning signs, harsh words, conflict, tension in the air. But real betrayal, the kind that changes destinies, it comes disguised as loyalty. Machiavelli understood that the best way to remove someone is not to fight them, but to make them believe you're their friend, their ally, their partner. He would study your patterns, mimic your language, and reflect your vision back to you. He'd make you believe you're in control. He'd nod when you spoke, laugh at your jokes, praise your ideas. You'd feel safe, so safe that you'd hand him the very keys to your power without even realizing it. And then, at the moment of your deepest trust, he would move, swift, silent, decisive. By the time you felt betrayed, he'd already replaced you. By the time you asked, "How did this happen?" the game was over. Machiavelli once wrote, "Men are so simple and so much inclined to obey immediate needs that a deceiver will never lack victims." Translation?
People want to believe you're on their side.
They want reassurance more than they want the truth.
And that desire for safety, that's the weapon. So how do you use this today? You don't make enemies feel like they're losing.
You make them feel like they're winning with you. You mirror their strengths. You amplify their ego. You give them the illusion of control.
And just when they finally lean on you fully,
you step forward and take what they never thought you'd touch. That's the art. Don't roar before the strike. Whisper. Smile. Make them feel safe. Because the sharpest betrayal is the one that doesn't look like betrayal until it's already done. Rule 9. Never reveal your real plan. If people know your moves in advance, you've already lost. Power belongs to the unpredictable. Machiavelli mastered this art. He understood that once the enemy knows your strategy, they can block it, twist it, or even use it against you. That's why he cloaked his true intentions in layers of distraction, half-truths, and false trails. He'd talk about one thing while quietly building another. He'd let people feel like they'd figured him out, when in reality, they were walking exactly where he wanted them to. Think about it. The strongest leaders, the most dangerous players, never tell the world their real plan. They smile, they talk big, they promise change. But behind closed doors, they move differently.
Every empire, every corporation, every dynasty has secrets.
The blueprint is never public. Machiavelli once warned, the promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present. In other words, say what you must, but never be chained by it. People want certainty, but certainty makes you vulnerable. If they can predict you, they can control you. So how do you use this today? Simple. Keep your ultimate goals locked away.
Speak in fragments.
Share only what benefits you. If someone presses too hard, give them a version of the truth, but never the full truth. Because once you give the full picture, they hold the map to your kingdom. This doesn't mean lying at every turn. It means controlling what people think they know. Distract them with surface-level plans while your real moves happen in silence. Make them underestimate you, misread you, or dismiss you. That way, when you finally reveal the truth, it's too late for them to react. The battlefield of power isn't won by the loudest voice or the biggest promises. It's won by the player who hides his real agenda until the moment of impact. That's the strike Machiavelli perfected. Unseen, unstoppable, undeniable. Rule 10. Build power through fear. Not love, it sounds harsh, but Machiavelli was clear. When it comes to ruling, it is safer to be feared than loved.
Love is fragile. It breaks the moment people don't get what they want.
Fear, on the other hand, binds. It keeps people in line even when they hate you. Machiavelli watched kings, generals, and popes rise and fall. The ones who relied only on love were betrayed the quickest. Why? Because love depends on others' emotions, and emotions change daily. One rumor, one disappointment, and their loyalty is gone. But fear? Fear doesn't fade. Fear makes people think twice before crossing you. Fear makes betrayal costly. This doesn't mean cruelty for cruelty's sake.
A ruler who is only brutal becomes hated, and hatred leads to rebellion.
The secret is balance. Enough fear to demand respect, but not so much that it creates desperation. Machiavelli wrote that punishments should be swift and decisive. One strike that terrifies everyone else from daring to test you. Think of modern power.
Leaders, CEOs, and even influence. Ones who last aren't the ones loved by all.
They're the ones you don't want to cross. You might admire them or you might despise them, but you never underestimate them. That aura of controlled danger keeps them untouchable. So how do you apply this? Start by setting boundaries. Don't always be the nice one. Don't let people think they can walk over you. When someone tests your limits, respond in a way that makes others remember not to do the same. Build a reputation for strength, not softness. Let people love you if they want, but make sure they respect you because they must. Love is optional. Fear is insurance. And in the ruthless game of power, insurance is survival. Rule 11, master the art of timing power, isn't only about strength. It's about striking at the right moment. Machiavelli knew that even the strongest rulers fall if they move too soon or too late. Timing is the invisible weapon of power. Most people act out of impulse. They get provoked, they rush into fights, or they hesitate until opportunities are gone.
That's weakness.
A true strategist knows how to wait like a predator, silent, patient, calculating. Then when the target is exposed, they strike with precision. Machiavelli advised rulers to study fortune, the waves of chaos that move history. You cannot control the storm, but you can learn to ride it. If you attack when your enemy is strong, you lose. If you delay until your supporters grow restless, you also lose. But if you wait for the exact moment when your rival is distracted, when your allies are ready, when the crowd is hungry for change, one move can shift the entire game. Think about politics, business, even personal life. The ones who rise are not always the most talented, but the ones who know when to make their move. They launch when others are unprepared. They speak when silence is heavy. They retreat when pressure is too strong, only to return when the field is open. Their timing makes them appear unstoppable, as if fate itself works for them. So how do you master timing? First, observe. Power isn't gained by rushing. It's gained by watching patterns and knowing when the tide is about to turn. Second, don't reveal impatience. Impatience signals weakness. Make others feel you have all the time in the world while secretly preparing for your strike. Third, strike fast once the window opens. Hesitation kills. Control your timing and you control perception. To others, it won't look like luck.
It will look like destiny.
And destiny, when mastered, is the ultimate mask of power. Rule 12, keep your hands clean, powerful. People understand one brutal truth. Appearances matter more than reality. You can command armies, break laws, crush rivals, But if people see blood on your hands, they'll turn against you.
Machiavelli's wisdom?
Always let others do the dirty work while you remain untarnished. The world rarely blames the hidden hand. Leaders throughout history have mastered this art. They used ministers, advisors, or loyal soldiers to carry out ruthless acts, while they smiled in public, speaking of peace, justice, or progress. The people saw a benevolent ruler while behind the curtain, betrayal and executions kept the throne secure. This is not about morality.
It's about perception.
If you punish someone, make it look like justice, not revenge. If you destroy a rival, let others believe fate or their own mistakes brought them down. If unpleasant decisions must be made, cutting jobs, silencing dissent, crushing rebellion, let a subordinate announce it. When anger explodes, it will burn your pawn, not you. Meanwhile, you remain untouchable, even admired. In modern life, the same principle applies. A cunning executive lets the HR manager fire employees. A politician lets the bureaucracy take the blame. Even in personal conflicts, a strategist maneuvers so that the opponent destroys themselves. The powerful never appear as the villain. They appear as the inevitable solution. But here's the danger. If your mask slips, if people see you pulling the strings, your credibility collapses. That's why the art of keeping your hands clean is both subtle and relentless. Always distance yourself from the fire. Always let another face the flames. When others see you as calm, pure, and above the dirt, they will trust you, follow you, even defend you, while you quietly arrange the battlefield behind the scenes. That is the elegance of true power, ruling with invisible claws while the world swears your hands are spotless. Rule 13, appeal to self-interest, never to mercy. People are selfish by nature. They may speak of loyalty, friendship, morality, but when choices get hard, they always ask, what's in it for me? Machiavelli understood this clearly. If you want influence, don't beg for kindness. Don't rely on gratitude and never expect loyalty. Instead, tie people's interests to your own so tightly that helping you becomes the same as helping themselves. This is why the strongest rulers and leaders don't waste time pleading for favors. They build alliances through benefits. They give rewards, positions, or opportunities that bind others to them. A general shares loot with his soldiers, so their survival depends on his.
A king grants land to nobles, so their wealth rises only if his throne rises.
In this way, loyalty is not sentimental. It's transactional and therefore reliable. Mercy, on the other hand, is a weak chain. Gratitude fades quickly. The man you rescued yesterday may betray you tomorrow if a better deal appears, but self-interest is eternal. People will betray morals, families, even friends, yet they rarely betray themselves. If serving you serves them, they'll stay. If betraying you profits them more, they'll switch sides. The wise strategist never forgets this. Even in modern life, the principle holds. A boss who inspires workers with vision will lose them the moment another company pays more. But a boss who designs a system where their success, growth, and rewards are directly linked to the company's survival, that boss keeps loyalty. Likewise, in friendships or partnerships, vague promises fail, but clear exchanges of value endure. So when you want to win someone, don't appeal to their emotions. Appeal to their interests. Show them how standing with you guarantees their gain and how opposing you guarantees their loss. Then you don't have to chase loyalty. It will chain itself to you. Remember, mercy creates debt, but debts are easily forgotten. Self-interest creates bonds, and bonds of profit are stronger than any oath. Rule 14, leave a legacy of power, not sentiment. Every empire ends, every throne falls, every leader is replaced. The only question is, what remains after you? The weak leave behind nothing but memories and fading sympathy. The strong, however, leave behind structures, systems, and a legacy that continues to influence even after their death. This is the last and most ruthless rule. Do not aim to be remembered as good. Aim to be remembered as unforgettable. Machiavelli knew that kindness dies with you, but strength echoes through generation. Julius Caesar may have been assassinated, but Rome still spoke his name centuries later.
Alexander died young, but his empire redrew the map.
Their legacies were not built on smiles or sentiment, but on conquest, systems, and bold acts that could not be erased. What does this mean for you? It means you must think beyond today's praise and tomorrow's applause. Do not waste your life chasing approval. Approval is temporary. Instead, build something that forces people to remember you. Whether they admire you, fear you, or envy you doesn't matter. What matters is that they cannot ignore you. This legacy can take many forms. It can be wealth, power, institutions, or ideas so strong they outlive you.
Even in ordinary life, the same principle applies.
Do not aim to be liked by everyone around you.
Aim to be the one they cannot replace, the one whose absence leaves a hole.
When people depend on the structures you created, a business, a movement, a network, your power survives even when you are gone. So carve your name into the world, not into fragile hearts. Sentiment fades with time.
Legacy endures.
Let your final rule be this: build power that outlives your body, so that even when you are no longer present, your shadow rules the room. Rule 15, say nothing and let them reveal everything. In today's world, everyone is desperate to be heard. Social media has trained people to overshare their wins, their struggles, even their secrets. But here's the paradox: the person who talks least usually ends up knowing the most. Silence isn't weakness. Silence is a mirror. When you stay quiet, people project their insecurities, their intentions, and their hidden fears onto you. They start filling the silence with details you never even asked for. Think about it. How many times have you seen someone talk themselves into a mistake just because they couldn't stand the silence? That's exactly the weapon Machiavelli would use today. He wouldn't waste energy interrogating people. He'd let them dig their own graves, word by word, trying to impress him or explain themselves. Silence makes people uncomfortable. They start second-guessing. Why isn't he responding? Did I say too much? Does he know something I don't? That psychological pressure is far more powerful than any threat. You're not forcing them to open up. They're volunteering the very ammunition you'll later use. And here's the emotional punch. In a loud world, silence feels like rejection. When you don't react, when you don't validate, people feel exposed. They crave your approval even more. They'll chase it, trying to break the silence you've built like a fortress. And by the time they realize it, you already control the tempo of the conversation. Machiavelli understood that silence isn't passive. It's a battlefield. It forces the other person to keep moving while you stay rooted, calculating, observing. So the next time you're in a heated argument or a tense negotiation, or even just a subtle power play, remember, say less. Let them sweat. Let them ramble. Let them reveal everything while you reveal nothing. Rule 16, be unpredictable, but only when it matters. Human beings crave patterns. We feel safe when we know what to expect from someone. If you always reply fast, people know they can reach you anytime. If you always forgive, they'll keep testing your limits. If you always stay calm, they'll push harder until you break. Predictability makes you easy to control.
And Machiavelli?
He would never allow that. He wouldn't act erratic because chaos destroys respect. Instead, he'd weaponize unpredictability like a scalpel. Imagine this. 9 times out of 10, you let insults slide, but the 10th time, you strike so hard, so precise, that no one ever dares again. Or think about relationships. Sometimes you show warmth, sometimes distance, never letting them fully measure your depth. That uncertainty keeps people on edge. Fear doesn't come from aggression. Fear comes from doubt. People can prepare for a storm they see coming, but not for lightning that strikes without warning. That's what makes unpredictability so powerful. You're not just a person anymore. You're a variable they can't calculate, a question mark that keeps them awake at night. Here's the emotional punch. If you're always the nice one, you'll be taken for granted. If you're always the tough one, you'll be avoided. But when no one knows which version of you they're going to get, they respect you. Not out of love, not even out of fear, but out of caution. You live rent-free in their mind because they're constantly rehearsing scenarios you haven't even acted out yet. So take a page from Machiavelli's playbook. Don't be predictable. Don't let people pin you down to one version. Sometimes forgive, sometimes walk away, sometimes hit back so hard it shakes the room. But always choose the moment. because unpredictability without timing is just chaos. True control isn't about being feared or loved. It's about being unreadable, and when people can't predict you, they can't prepare for you. Rule 17, make your presence felt. Even in absence, real power isn't about always being in the room. It's about being felt even when you're gone. Machiavelli knew this. A true leader doesn't need to shout or constantly remind people of their authority. His influence lingers like a shadow that never leaves. Think about a mentor, a boss, or even a parent whose voice still echoes in your head when you make decisions. You don't need them standing beside you. Their presence lives in your memory. That's psychological control. And that's exactly how Machiavelli would operate today. He wouldn't text every day, post constantly, or force his presence into every moment. Instead, he'd leave an impression so deep, so sharp, that even in silence people would measure themselves against his standards. They'd second-guess choices, replay conversations, and wonder, what would he do? Here's the emotional punch. Absence can be louder than presence. Imagine walking into a room and realizing someone powerful isn't there, but still, every conversation circles back to them. That's the kind of dominance that outlives time and distance. You're not just remembered, you're haunting the atmosphere. So how do you use this? Simple. Stop trying to be everywhere. Instead, when you are present, be intentional, be sharp, be unforgettable.
Speak with clarity, move with precision. Leave people with an experience that burns into memory.
Because when you're gone, that memory will do the work for you. Machiavelli wouldn't fight for constant attention. He'd build a reputation so strong that even silence becomes influence. And that's the secret. It'd make your absence heavy enough that people feel it in their bones. Rule 18, never threaten, let fear. Do the work. Threats make people defensive. Machiavelli never needed to say, I'll destroy you. He let others imagine it. And imagination is scarier than reality. Think about it. Someone goes quiet after you cross them, and suddenly your mind spins. What are they planning? That fear eats at you more than any shouted threat ever could.
Machiavelli.
He knew silence creates paranoia, and paranoia forces people to behave in your favor without you lifting a finger. Today, don't tell people what you'll do. Just pause when they lie. Smile when they insult you. Stay silent when they try to provoke you. That silence makes their imagination your weapon. And the scariest enemy is the one who never announces the attack. Rule 19, delay revenge until it's devastating. Weak people react instantly. Powerful people wait. Machiavelli knew revenge was never about quick satisfaction. It was about timing, letting someone believe they got away with it, letting them relax, letting them expose more weaknesses, then striking when it hurts most. This is psychological warfare. If you react right away, they set the tempo. But if you wait, weeks, months, even years, they live in fear, wondering when the shoe will drop. That paranoia destroys them long before you even move. So, don't waste energy on instant payback. Study them. Wait. Then, when the timing is perfect, deliver one clean, decisive move that they can't recover from.
That's control.
Rule 20, become a system. Not a man. Machiavelli didn't want to be loved.
He wanted to be essential.
He knew the most powerful person isn't just respected, they're irreplaceable. Today, everyone wants followers. Machiavelli would want systems. He'd embed himself so deeply in structures, habits, and strategies that removing him would collapse everything. He wouldn't just build influence, he'd build frameworks that carried his voice even when he was gone. This is legacy power. When people don't just follow you, they operate by rules you created. Even your enemies can't move without using your playbook. That's permanent dominance. Don't just build an image, build a system that outlives you. Rule 21, make them afraid to speak your name. The final stage of power isn't fame, it's haunting. Machiavelli wouldn't want his name trending. He'd want people whispering about him, too afraid to say it out loud. When your name becomes heavy, like a shadow in the room, you've reached a level where people obey without orders. They reference you without mentioning you. Don't end up like him. You know who I mean? That's the Machiavellian endgame. To become bigger than presence, bigger than titles, bigger than arguments. This isn't about being recognized.
It's about being unavoidable.
You don't just win the room. You become the atmosphere people breathe in, even in silence.
That's not fame.
That's fear.
That's control.